Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ben.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good? You good?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Glad to hear it.
How was your trip?
How was your trip?
My trip was lovely, thank you.
Yeah?
It was warmer than here.
Yeah.
Very blustery in the Canary Islands.
Was
It's
it?
a windy place.
Yeah.
And the alcoholic drinks were mixed roughly 50-50.
Yep.
Right.
They really did their job there, and that was good also. So can recommend.
How was the food?
It's bad.
What was it?
It's really bad.
Yeah. A lot
Yeah.
of nuggets.
Not even that. I'll tell you more about it
Yeah.
in additional content at some point. But I on the whole, had a
Wow.
nice time, and I enjoyed it.
You'll have to just listen to
Sorry,
the additional
Matthews.
I don't like to listen to the additional content because I feel left out.
Oh,
Well,
well.
unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Bad is all you need to know.
Yeah.
But I had a lovely time. Glad to be back. It's nice to. As soon as I got in, I had to cycle into work. The heavens opened.
Yeah, it's
got
been raining this
absolutely
week.
drenched. Awful.
Saw a headline yesterday, didn't click on the article, as everyone does nowadays, that said we're due to have the wettest summer
Oh,
in
for God's
like
sake!
100
What
years.
was last summer?
I don't know, but they always make
Right.
these predictions and they're normally wrong. It just makes a good headline, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Because the summer of 2022, I remember specifically being a lovely summer.
Yeah.
It was so hot. And then we had, like a heat wave day in April.
We had like a few days.
and that was it.
Yeah.
Now it's peeing it down.
Yeah. Well,
Awful, dreadful.
less about the weather.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something that happened last week, shall we?
Yeah.
Benjamin, it was your birthday.
It was my
last
birthday
week.
last week. Yes, last
Yeah.
Monday.
And you weren't here for your birthday podcast. So we have had to hold on to your presents.
you got me a
for-
present?
Presents.
Presents, plural.
Oh,
Two
good
presents.
Lord.
For a whole extra week. So are you
Okay.
ready to receive your presents?
I'm very excited. Thank you very much.
That's okay.
We're in June now at the time of release of this podcast.
Yeah.
And so what a privilege to still be celebrating.
Yeah. We've got one that's wrapped and one that isn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which would you like
Do you want me? I'll give mine first
Do I need
because
to
it's not as
close?
exciting. You can
Did
put your
you
hands
get
up.
one each?
Well,
Sort of.
we got
It was a
we
team
got
effort.
the main present together.
Yeah.
And then
I just got you a little bonus.
So we're scaling things up now. So you're going to expect 2 presents, aren't
Three.
you? And you're going to want
Last year I had
3 to
37.
make up for the one that you
Can
got
I
Yeah.
this
do it
year.
myself?
Okay.
Right. Ready?
Yeah.
It's crinkly.
Oh, Stroop waffles.
They're from Amsterdam.
Because you went to Amsterdam.
Yeah, and I got myself one freshly made, and I picked this one up from the lady who just made them. So
Oh,
not freshly
wow.
made anymore. It's been a week, but
Thank you very much.
Not
That's
that
okay.
fresh. Yeah.
Would you like a Stroop waffle?
later.
Later? Okay, well,
Later,
Billy
yes.
can look after... No, I've not.
They're a little bit crushed because
That's okay. They have to
Right.
go
They
in
were
a
in
bag,
my
don't they?
suitcase.
Yeah. Well, thank
But
you for bringing that back.
that's okay.
I will enjoy
saw
those.
Sort of you, and after I'd bought them, I saw those like weird little chocolate beans that you like in
Oh,
a
yeah.
shop like
Chocolate
full
beans.
of them.
that we get in the tap
Yeah. The chocolate like
Oh, the
ball.
pebbles.
Yeah, the pebbles.
I love the
I walked
pebbles.
past a shop about 10 minutes before I was getting on the the train to get on the plane, and I was like, "Oh man, that's full of those things."
It's,
that Ben
it's
likes.
just a pebble shop.
You'd
But,
have been way
it was
happier.
torrential rain, so I had to just.
No, I
was like,
understand.
"We
I'm
gotta
very
go."
happy with this. Thank you very much.
That's okay.
These will be enjoyed.
There's
Devoured
also
even.
this wrapped by my own fair hand.
Actually
What's
wrapped.
stuck on the back of it?
It's got happy birthday
that?
paper on it. He's given me some fluff.
You know, it's just been on the floor, so it's probably
put
floor.
that on.
Floor
No,
bits.
don't put it on
I'm gonna
him.
put it on Billy's
It's on
head.
the floor.
We've got premium tape here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and easy. Not wrapped by grandma. Which
No.
is real treat.
Wrapped by TP.
By TP. This side was barely even tape,
Well, that's okay.
so it's easy for you
Yeah.
in your old
I
age.
missed the tape, and I was like, it's down. It's stuck.
Peter is also old.
Good
so-
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what have we got here? It's a garment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You dispose of
It's
the
really
paper.
good.
It's really good. You're
Yeah.
happy with this. You did get me a gamer at work shirt a couple of years
Yeah,
ago. I don't know if
yeah.
you
Yeah. Well,
remember that.
I was doing some research, and
Oh boy. Okay.
It's really good if you read some of the.
It's
the
really good.
bits.
I'll show it on camera and then I'll describe it and read it. So here it is. It's sort of like a product description
Yeah.
kind of thing.
It says gamer.
It says gamer, and then in the top left box it says great reflexes with dexterity bonus. Then there's a picture of pizza and it says, make sure to feed. They will forget to feed themselves. I
Yeah.
can assure you, my friend, that is not true.
well, it is and it isn't, because I mean you're right, but then also we thought
It's quite
hey,
on brand
he never
for
has
you.
breakfast.
That's
Yeah.
true. I
So
did have my
that is
pills
very
today.
bad.
Make sure we feed you.
Powered by energy, drinks, and then it says cracked.
My favourite bit.
What is that? Powered by energy drinks, and then in parentheses cracked.
I think if you're like a cracked gamer, it means that you're really fast.
Oh, so this is like a Gen Z slang.
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
So this
yeah.
is a really new model.
I thought that was so funny.
Do not disturb, it says on the door. Will not go outside, and then in parentheses again, if possible.
If possible.
Okay, so you have to trick me
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
Right, so we now got description. It says gamer, requires good internet with no lag, warning, prone to rage quits, 100% completionist.
Yeah.
And then it's got 5 stars, and it says R1, C, R2, up, down, up, down, up, down. I don't know what cheat that is.
C, I
I
guess
don't know
it's
what the
circle.
C is. Yeah, oh yeah, probably.
Although you would just draw a circle, wouldn't you? I don't know.
Who
Wasn't
knows?
C on a old controller? It used to have a C button on it.
Probably.
Probably one of those Nintendo controllers.
Yeah.
What have you scanned the barcode? Do you know?
I
what-
haven't. No.
No.
Have you read the?
I'm going to read it now.
includes?
Yeah, what does it include? Controller, keyboard depends on variant. I like the
What's your
study of
console
a gamer as a
Yeah,
as
good,
an
isn't it?
object, as
Yeah.
a creature. Gaming headset, gaming chair, neon lights, loud communication with specific call-outs, pushing enemies without saying anything,
Don't know what that means.
blaming teammates, raging at lag when they die due to their own skill, occasional desk slam,
Yeah.
fast reflexes, a variety of looks for each game, 100% accuracy in identifying cheaters/hackers, ability to turn one more game into 30 more games,
Yeah.
headset hair, or what was it that that's worried about?
Getting a headset head.
Your-
that guy
your
who had the
skull
The head dead.
decompressing.
Oh, God.
Ability to make enemies one shot. That's if that doesn't.
What does that
describe-
mean?
If that doesn't describe me, I don't know what does.
It's
Yeah.
so good, isn't it?
Clearly, I'm going to have to put this on before we continue. I'll just go over there. and
It's
do
so
that.
good, man.
Thank you very much.
That's
guys.
okay. You're welcome.
You're very
Happy
welcome.
birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll put it on over my
31
Okay.
today.
shirt. 32.
32.
32.
32.
I missed
Yeah.
a birthday.
Been doing this a long time. Remember when we were celebrating our 25th and 24th birthdays?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
How old are you, Ashton?
I'm 26 next month.
Oh, so old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big girl.
Excuse me.
Big girl.
Wow.
There it is.
There he is, the gamer
What's
trademark.
up? The game is here.
You used to get a lot of that, didn't you? From,
Desk slam.
From like relatives and stuff growing up.
Yeah, it's just easy, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
an easy present.
You like games?
You like games. You don't like going outside or talking to people. And I was like,
I
yeah, but
quite
not
liked-
to the same level that I think you think.
How much effort they put in. Like this little like include section
Ingredients
down
list,
here.
yeah.
It's all small.
I think it's very good. Like normally you just get like Lorem Ipsum down there, but
Yeah.
I quite like
It's a very
it.
soft fabric
It
as
is
well,
soft.
which I
Good.
enjoy. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very
welcome.
kind of
Happy
you
birthday.
both.
Cracked.
Thank you. Cracked.
Crack.
Desk slam. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. This isn't actually a birthday podcast. It's a video game podcast. Each and every week we're sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor. Helps us keep the light on in here. Is Dead Island 2 the spider?
Yeah, top corner.
Over there.
Still up there.
Excellent. We see him.
There was a big one outside the office next door as well.
Was there?
On the ceiling.
Dead Island 3 the
Big
spider.
lanky bastard.
Oh, no.
Bloody hell. Now, I've got the ad read here.
Yeah.
And I am aware that you guys had a sponsor last week
As we do every week.
as you do every week, for a similar tie-in thing.
Right.
But I think as we're all sort of aware, Xbox hasn't been doing the best job of promoting this particular game that this product is
Right,
tied
yeah.
into. So they've released another product.
Right.
Okay.
It's delicious. It's hoppy. It's refreshing. It's expensive. It's Hellblade Senua's Lager, and it's available now.
Very
Right.
good.
Yum yum.
Yum yum.
I saw the lager coming. I wasn't sure if maybe some of the other words would also have been changed.
How would
to-
you improve it?
This was what he did to me last week because I
Did he
didn't
critique
didn't
you?
change all the words, and then he was like a bit disappointed he didn't change all the words.
I don't remember saying that. I believe you if that's what you say.
Sounds like it's Trouble in
but-
Paradise.
Yeah.
Hellblade Senua's Lager.
Don't know.
Hellblade 2.
Hellblade 2. Yeah,
Senua's
that's very
Lager.
true.
You know what?
Does it make
You're
you hear?
right.
Does
Perfect,
it make you
isn't it?
hear voices?
If you drink enough of them, yes.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. So that's available now in corner shops only. You have to go in there and it's behind the till. And you feel
Xbox
like
won't
a
tell you
criminal
where it
for
is.
asking for it.
only on
Yeah.
the individual.
Yes,
Do
do
not
not sell,
sell.
not for individual
Yeah.
resale.
Yeah.
Senua's Lager, available now. That's not true, unfortunately.
Aw.
However, Hellblade 2,
Bless you.
Thank you.
Senua's Saga is available right now, and you should go and play it. You
I'll
played
tell you
it.
about it later.
Tell me about it. Okay, well,
tell you about it later.
you should play it probably.
We assume.
She's got a shifty look on.
Maybe.
No.
There's a few places you can find us on the internet, but before I tell you about those, because I've forgotten how I do this intro, we're actually sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump. If you go and support us there, you get access to all sorts of goodies, submitting questions on this podcast, early access to worst and weirdest games, exclusive access to episodes of Rules Boss, which is a challenge show, and Main Menu, where we recreate video game recipes really awfully. There's a new episode of that out this week.
Yeah.
Right now, if you're a patron.
It's out.
TripleJump is our website. That's where you can find us. Links to everything that we do, our YouTube, Twitch, Discord, if you want to get a cameo from us as well. Triple Jump Shop is where you can go and buy some wonderful merchandise. Only you're wearing it today, Peter. I mean, I am as well. But
You were also wearing the jacket.
You can't buy the gamer t-shirt there, though. No.
easy to pull it down.
Don't stretch it.
I'm not stretching it. It's fine. It's just stretchy and good and malleable. There we are.
There it is.
TripleJumpShop.com is where you can go there. And Patreon.com, once again, /Team Triple Jump. Some stuff is coming out this week.
Yes, there's a weirdest games ever. That's out for everyone this week, right?
Yeah.
It was out last week for patrons, but it is Super Farm. And oh boy, it's sexy again. If you're into that, which I am.
So true.
Absolutely. You brought it.
Yeah.
So.
Also, next week, we are live reacting to a few shows over the course of Summer Game Festival. We are reacting to Summer Game Fest on the Friday. Me and Ben are reacting to Future Game Show on the Saturday. And on the Sunday, we're all reacting to the Xbox Showcase. The Summer Game Fest and Xbox will be on YouTube, Future Games on Twitch. Come and hang out with us and watch the shows together. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
See what comes out.
It's exciting. Not E3 week is fast approaching. We'll be talking more about it in our big discussion. Pay attention to social media feeds for when we are actually going to be going live and on which platform, because Summer Game Fest and Xbox, which is all of us, will be on YouTube, and Future Game Show will be reactions on Twitch. So
Yes.
we hope to see as many of you there as possible if you'd like to watch it with us and have a wonderful time. Is it time for question 1?
I do believe so.
I suppose it is. This is from Chris McVeigh, who says, "Hi BAP, CD Projekt Red have reportedly ceased all development on Cyberpunk 2077 after 3.5 years of fixes, updates, and expansions. Now that the game is fully complete and doesn't seem likely to receive any further updates, how well do you think the final product lives up to what it was promised to be? Do you think CD Projekt will be a bit more circumspect with the marketing for whatever they make next?"
Good word.
Yeah.
It is a good word.
Given the way that Cyberpunk's launch went, or does the redemption arc angle show they can get away with promising the moon scot-free? Thank you, scot-free.
Thank you, Scott-free.
Question.
Thank you, Chris.
I definitely think they can't get... I think it would be the worst thing for them to do now to do the same thing again. I don't think they've got away scot-free. I think they've... well, for one thing, I don't think they've got away full stop. I think people remember Cyberpunk still for what it was at launch, even though it has, by all accounts, made some big improvements. I think that they need to really pull it out the bag on their next big project, their CD project, if you will.
Oh,
and
He's so funny.
he really is. And they need to be careful with just generally release date delays. That's one thing, that's a separate issue to actually releasing a product broken. I think those are two separate branches that both need to tick both boxes really with those. It's not enough to say, oh, well, we did release, our next big project gets released and it actually works, but we did post 18 yellow screens on social media in the lead up to its release. So no, I don't think there's been a real redemption arc. I think they've basically made amends for things they've done wrong in the first place. And it's the same for, the No Man's Sky, fantasy Minecrafty looking game that's coming out at some point in the next couple of years. I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
from them?
Yeah, the No Man's Skies guys they've got another game coming out.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were still talking about CD.
No.
Right,
No,
The
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'll find the name.
Yeah, that one. It looks like it might be quite good, but it needs to be what is promised. So there've been a few instances of this over the past few years, and I think all of the developers involved need to be careful with what they're doing on their next release.
Light no fires.
Yes.
Light no fire. Sorry, singular.
Yeah. I think that they've tarnished their reputation, and I think it's going to require a lot more effort than just fixing the game that they broke in order to kind of redeem themselves. I think that like the way that Cyberpunk is now versus how it was when it first came out is such an insane contrast of the two.
Night City and Day City.
Yes, exactly.
Indeed.
Thank you. He's so funny.
Thank you.
And I do think that I almost think that Cyberpunk 2077 now is not the same game that came out 3.5 years ago.
Beginning of lockdown, right?
Yeah. I think that like there's no way you can look at those two games and be like, this is the same game. So much has been changed. So many of the core mechanics of the game have been shifted and changed around. Even from when I played it a few years ago versus if I was to jump into it now, like when I played the Phantom Liberty DLC, there was so much in it that had changed, and I basically had to relearn how to play the game again because it was so different. I think that they will never get away from what they did with this release. I think that in the future, they are going to have to be so careful with how they advertise their next game, how they kind of promise things. And also, if their next game launches and it is even like slightly broken, everyone is going to dunk on them and they are going to struggle. I think they've like maybe redeemed themselves, but like you say, it's more of a penance than a like, we're doing this because we're such a good company. We're doing this because we have to. I think they were lucky that they did all this stuff and the TV show came out and kind of helped them have this second wave of players who now only see the game as a good, fun game that they played. I think maybe it was marketing, maybe it was just incredibly lucky that they got away with it. But I do not believe that if they put out another game and it was even like slightly broken, that they would get away with it again. I think they've already like used all of their 9 lives and anymore, and they'll struggle, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Hashtag never forget, I think is the most important thing. They have really had a redemption arc, and to their credit, they have ultimately delivered a product that, while I would still argue in certain places maybe doesn't live up to the hype of the original premise, it is at the very least a highly polished, very good open world game that a lot of people really love. I played it, God, it would have been a couple of years ago now.
Yeah,
maybe
I think you played it just after I did.
Year?
I think I played it 2022.
Okay. So it was either the end of 2022 or the beginning of last year, because I remember playing it in my old flat. And I enjoyed it, but it didn't, like, I remember watching the sort of the hype reel. Remember they did that sort of walkthrough demo a few years ago, and that totally blew my mind. And I didn't feel like the rest of the game was necessarily representative of that. And so I enjoyed it, but I was a bit let down by the endings and the choices you can make and stuff. I felt like I was being sort of funneled into an ending I wasn't that interested in. And that's ultimately probably user error. But at the same time, I didn't have many bugs or glitches at all, and that was largely what was wrong with the game to begin with. So you can't deny that they have ultimately delivered, as I said, a highly polished product that people love, and that is to be commended. However, it was such a clanger that nobody saw coming. Because this is The Witcher 3, guys. How could they possibly mess this up? Oh, they've actually messed it up probably as bad as anyone has ever messed anything up in the history of anything. And you've got Bethesda sort of sneaking backwards the Simpsons gif into the bush from their Fallout 76 debacle. Like, oh, thank God, someone has taken the crown. So no, we shouldn't forget that they did this. And I imagine that they will not forget that they did this either. You're totally right. That if their next game has even a hair out of place, it's going to be scrutinized way more than any other studio with a similar hair out
Yeah.
of place. They simply cannot afford to do this again. They have slowly rebuilt the goodwill of their fan base, which was a monumental undertaking. And yes, they were very much helped by a timely piece of additional media in the Edge Runners?
Yeah.
And anime or cartoon. That definitely helped them along the way and got loads of new players in who, as you said, experienced it for the first time in its more current state. Phantom Liberty went down really well, and by all accounts, Phantom Liberty, you played it, didn't you?
Yes.
Is maybe better or shows a more complete package than the original base game?
I think, yeah, I mean, it's more condensed in terms of what the content it offers, but just the way Phantom Liberty came out alongside the update just made the whole game just work much better and be closer to what they promised at the beginning. I do think, though, actually, and I think I voiced this at the time, I don't feel like they should ever have been allowed to continually enter their game into things like the Game Awards for continuing, like,
most
experience.
improved game. So, well,
But
that's
it
easy
wasn't-
to win
but
if
it
you
wasn't
started
even-
at nothing.
It
you know?
wasn't even most improved game. It was like continuing experience or something, which was like Apex Legends, a live service game. And it's like Cyberpunk 2077. I'm like, well, they're not.
They're just fixing
They're
it.
fixing
Yeah.
it. They're not. What are you
Making
talking
it how it
about?
was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bit shenanigan filled.
And then the DLC being entered into stuff to like win awards when it's like, well, Cyberpunk couldn't have won awards, but now you're winning awards because you've entered in your DLC that you put in after the fact. So like
so it's the whole game.
I still think they shouldn't have been allowed to do that. And I do think that everyone kind of gave them a little pass when it came to things like awards and being like, well, they've been doing such a good job.
This is what they
Shut
should
up.
have won last year for the
if
main game.
they weren't awful.
Yeah.
They even got a pass on their first year out, didn't they? I thought they were like,
They may have done.
They won some Game of the Year
Yeah.
stuff, which is mental.
Crazy.
Baffling. It seems like the way to go if you have a really bad release and people suddenly think, oh, you're one of those bad developers, is to release a TV show.
Yeah.
Because not only have Cyberpunk done that, but Fallout as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yeah,
You
Fallout
know,
76.
Granted, there was more time between Fallout 76 and the Fallout show than there was in the case of Cyberpunk, I think.
and Fallout 4, which had a massive group of people playing it.
Yeah, so the bitter taste that was left from Fallout 76. Now, when people think of, if you say Fallout to someone now, probably certainly the most recent memory would be the TV show rather than 76. So if Fallout 5 ever graces our screens, then it's got something else to kind of it's got the shoulders of one giant to stand on rather than Fallout 76.
Yeah.
I know we're retreading old ground, but it's just, I find it particularly egregious when a company is even in the position to be allowed to, I don't know, overcome their own errors. In that sounds callous, but any other game studio who released a game in that state would have suffered the consequences. And they didn't, because people trusted them. And they betrayed that trust massively, but they had so much money anyway from the amount of pre-orders for Cyberpunk 2077 that they were easily able to weather that storm.
Yeah.
Anyone else, if they were owned by a different company, they might have been shuttered. If they were an indie startup, they wouldn't, have lasted a year.
Yeah.
Hello Games was in a fortunate position because they hoodwinked the entire world and they had a bajillion pre-orders. I might be exaggerating a bit. And they also had PlayStation's backing as well. These are very fortunate companies in that they were allowed to overcome their own mistakes. Not many studios are afforded that. Having said that, though, I am very excited to see what they do next because they are an exceptional studio, even if, for me personally, The Witcher 3 connected more than Cyberpunk did. And it's exciting to know that the entire studio has now moved on to the next project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's probably still going to be several years before we see it.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
it will be.
Well, now I thought we could try something in honor of your birthday.
Okay.
Something new.
More birthday.
It's called What We Playin.
Is it edible?
No.
No. Well, not as interesting.
Could be.
It's What We Play in time. Time to talk about the games what we have been playing. Peter Oster.
Yes.
What have you been playing?
Well, I've finished the two Far games. Had a lovely time.
Did you like the second one?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was better. They just sort of improved on everything pretty much. Very atmospheric, nice music, weird kind of atmosphere and feeling. But yeah, really good. I really enjoyed them both. So that was a nice little breakaway playing some small games. But then since then, I've played a flip ton of Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled.
Oh.
Because my brother-in-law came to stay at our house, and he is of a certain age where we were like, what do we do to entertain this not quite child, this boy? And so I was like, oh, well, what multiplayer, like local multiplayer split screen games have I got? And I didn't have that many. The first thing we played when he arrived was Sackboy: A Big Adventure. And he had enough fun for an hour while we were doing it. And then we sort of went, cool, so should we play the next level? And sort of, I think almost all of us kind of went, yeah, well, we could play something else instead. Oh. So then we booted up Crash Team Racing and basically played it for the rest of the weekend when we were not out doing stuff. So
nice.
We probably played it on 4 different occasions over 2 days. And since then, apparently Amy snuck downstairs the other day, played it all by herself.
Wow.
Which she never does. She never boots up my PS5 and plays something solo, but she's just been racing around as Coco. So there's a Crash Team renaissance happening in my house.
Nice.
Wow.
I think those are the only 2 we played.
Renaissance.
Yeah, indeed. I installed some other stuff.
She's so funny.
She's so funny.
Thank you.
I installed some other stuff before he arrived that I thought we could also try. Like I've got one of the Overcookeds, and I think I can't even remember something else. Oh, we played about 10 minutes of Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1, which is also local co-op, and we died, and we'd not been saving the game up to that point.
Oh no!
And it just boots you back to the front menu if you've not saved the game. So we were like, we thought not playing that again. So yeah, and didn't get around to playing Overcooked. So yeah, it was actually just a lot of Crash Team Racing. But you know what? Had a good time. The store is still just
I was going to say, are they still doing like timed releases?
I mean, they're not doing new stuff anymore.
Right.
But if you go on the store page, it's like you can't just buy what you want.
Still
it's
as a countdown.
Yeah.
That's stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just put it all there.
There's a refresh button. You can refresh twice in a day. So you go on the store and you go, oh, I don't want any of that. Press square. Oh, don't want any of that. Press square. Oh, don't want those.
I have a tolerance for that insofar as if they are doing actual seasonal releases, I'm okay with stuff having a refresh period. But if I go on and you are hiding things from me that I want to buy
in a basically dead game at this point, or not quite dead.
That's so annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't like it.
Because, it has like certain windows for certain things. So like there's always like, you know, a couple of cart cosmetics on offer, 1 character and 1 something else. And so I refreshed a couple of times because I was like, I don't want any of those characters. And then I'd run out of refreshes, but I had loads of coins because it was just like stacking up while we were playing all these races. So I was like, I'm just going to start buying these characters now and hoping that one that I want finally comes up. And I had enough for 3 characters, bought these 3 characters I don't care about, and then finally Hunter from Spyro appeared and I'd run out of money. I was like, if this just had a list of characters, I could just go and buy all the ones I want.
I bet
I'm not going to give them any real money.
Unless it's totally randomized, I bet someone has now worked out, or if you want this character, as long as you don't refresh, it should pop up on
just as you run out of coins.
But that's so stupid.
I know, it was ridiculous.
So stupid.
I mean, you know, I was just playing as Spyro the whole time anyway, so it's all right because I've already got him. But I did think like, oh yeah, it'd be nice to like spend these coins on a few characters I care about. No,
Activision sucks, man. I hate Activision so much.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all I played. A bit of FAR and then some CTR.
I've played some more Fabledom. I really like that game. I think it's a really cute little city builder. I played it on stream last night and I had to literally turn myself away from it because I had to go and have my tea. But I was like, I just want to keep playing this forever. I've also played some more Fallout 76, just kind of meandering around, getting my ass kicked by a Deathclaw. And yeah, that game's fine. I enjoy it just from the fact I can play a game with my boyfriend, but it's fine. And the other thing I've played is Hellblade 2. Now,
can I just ask, did you play it last week on the podcast, or is this the first time you're talking?
I'm talking about it. So I played it for the first time on Sunday evening, and initially was playing it downstairs, and the very first kind of cutscene started happening. She ends up in some water, and it was just absolutely chugging. Like it just could not. The frame rate was terrible.
Is this on PC?
Well, on PC, yeah.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh man, I'll go upstairs and see if I'm playing, if it's streaming down here that's the issue, if it's just like that. And then it was just not working. You have like a slider where you can set it to be like, can you play it at 60 FPS, please? But it was running like 100% of my GPU and just chugging away. At one point I entered a settlement where there was no enemies. There was just like, there's no one there. It's an abandoned settlement. And it was at one point was playing at 2 FPS. Oh. And I was like, what is happening? And I'm playing it on like the lowest setting in terms of like the way it looks. And eventually managed to get it to sit at a pretty sturdy 30 FPS. But like the game's just blurry. And having played the first one last year, I kept thinking like, wow, it looks so good. But this game now, I just don't know if it's just not optimized. My PC is not that old where it should be struggling with things like this. And I don't know if it's just not optimized or what, but
did you play Starfield on PC? Or was
on PC, and it was
like
fine.
If you run Starfield, you would assume you could run
exactly
low quality.
Like at one point, I'm like walking towards one of the guys, and he looks like he's like clean shaven, and then you get closer to him, and his beard pops in.
Oh God, okay.
So, but like the story wise, I'm finding it really interesting. Like there's actual people in this game, whereas in the first game it's mainly just Senua and like the enemies that she fights. You have very similar like equipment and abilities as you do in the first game. You have like a mirror that you can use to like stun enemies, which you don't get immediately. You pick up a sword because you've lost it at the beginning and you have to kind of fight your way through. But yeah, I think that like the game is gonna be good. I haven't played any more of it because I haven't had any time this week, but I'm really disappointed by how it's running, and I don't know how it runs on an Xbox, but the fact that it doesn't run past 30 FPS on medium on my PC is like crazy to me. There's no reason it shouldn't, so I'm really confused by it.
Has anyone else been saying that they're having issues?
Well, a few people have apparently been having like issues with the way it runs and stuff, but some people have had it like have got it at like beautiful HD, like looks amazing, but for some reason it just won't run on my PC. So I don't know if I should install it on my boyfriend's PC and give it a go on there, because his is a little bit newer than mine. But yeah, I mean the story is essentially that she's hunting the Northmen who destroyed her village in the first game, and she's gone to this new land and she's trying to find her way through, but there's obviously something bad happening there, like those people are dead and there's like a plague on the land. And you're, like I say, with other people, which is really interesting because Senua isn't normally talking to anyone apart from the voices in her head. But there is still the element of like the shadows are still around and she's still kind of struggling with her psychosis. But yeah, it's interesting. Hopefully I'll play some more, but it's just a shame about how it runs. And I don't know why it's not running very well on my PC. It's very strange.
What a shame.
That is a shame.
What's the... You've got your ear to the ground about this game. What's sort of the public reaction to it been so far? Are people liking it?
Well, this is the thing. I feel like the public reaction is no one's playing this game. In terms of like people online are roasting it because at one point like it didn't even have like the weekend or after its release, it didn't even have 4,000 players online.
That's so sad.
But the thing is that the Xbox haven't done any marketing.
No, that's why. It's not.
I saw
a
banner ad today on a website, but that's it.
I think that they've really shafted this in a lot of ways. Like the fact that review scores came out an hour before it released. The fact that they've not put any adverts on really. I've seen like a few banner ads. I've not seen any YouTube ads. I've not seen any TV adverts for it. Like when Starfield came out, you couldn't escape it. And I know it's not quite Starfield level, but it's still like a pretty significant release. It's one of their big releases of the year, and they've not done anything to help Ninja Theory with this game. I worry about them. Ninja Theory, I'm really concerned.
It's got 81 critical score and only 7.4 user player.
There's going to be so much we're going to find out after. Like it's going to be really fascinating to find if we ever find out what's actually happened behind closed doors, because the way that this was being promoted for the longest time as, look at this amazing exclusive that we've got. And then they worked on it for way longer than anyone expected. They promoted it quite hard really early on, and then they've just done nothing.
We've seen loads from it in like 2022. It was at the Game Awards, at the Xbox Showcase.
I remember that reveal trailer where like it just looked stunning graphically.
And it does if your PC can run
it.
But the thing is as well, the game is only they've advertised it as 8 to 9 hours long. But if you go on like a long play, they're like 4 to 5 hours long. So that could be that they've played it a few times and know what they're doing. But if you play it for 8 hours, that's fine. But it's basically just getting like roasted in terms of like the fact that it's a short game and no one's playing it. But I just think the issue is that either people haven't played the first one because they've not heard of it because it wasn't a massive title at the time. But it's not a AAA game, so I'm not expecting it to be like 20 hours long. But it's just I think it's a shame about how people are reacting to it at the moment and kind of roasting it and using it as another way of like another thing that Microsoft have done wrong this year in terms of like the games that it's released. I just worry about Ninja Theory because they're a really talented studio, as you can see from the first game, and I'm just worried that this game isn't going to give them enough to survive. We may see a close down from them in the next 6 months, I think.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Sort of a tinfoil hat thing is the lack of marketing a calculated move.
That's what I thought.
Oh, well, it didn't perform, so we're going to have to. You've been working on it for years, etc. It's like well, you deliberately didn't do, or at least there was some calculated non-promotion just to back up their
like
eventual
it just kind of snuck out last week. Like it came out on the 21st, and I knew when it was coming out. But the fact that it just literally kind of like released and there was like barely any fanfare. And you go on Xbox's Twitter page, there's no post about it. There's no like adverts on like their page about go and play like Senua's Saga. They're not reposting anyone's like photo mode pictures. I think it's crazy. I don't know what's going on with that because that is like, if it's your game, one of your headline 2024 titles, why, pray tell, are you not telling anyone about it? Like, I think it's absolutely mental, but I might play some more and I'll let you know how I'm getting on next week. But I just think, I think it's a big shame about
so weird
the game so far.
So you just look at the promotional differences between PlayStation's first party titles. And I mean, when did Xbox or Microsoft bought Ninja Theory after the first Hellblade, right?
Yeah.
Because that was multi-platform.
Yeah.
So they've only released one game in all that time.
Yeah.
Which could be for a variety of reasons, but I think if it does happen that they get shut down, that is just such another. I mean, it's a massive blemish, another massive blemish against Xbox's management anyway, because they're shutting down another studio and they shouldn't be doing that. But especially in the case of Ninja Theory, where all you got out of them was one game. From a management perspective, you got one game out of them in that many years. What a waste of money. You bought them, got a game out, and then closed them.
Yeah, you'd hope that, I agree, it's like a tinfoil hat thing, but like I'd like to think that no company would be so self-destructive in, it's still in their interest to try and make money back on this project. Yeah. So you would think that they should at least be promoting it, and trying to make that money back, even if they are kind of thinking in the long term, we don't want to do any more of this, or we don't want to like work with this studio anymore. Like you'd still think they would want to make that money back first, and then just have to play the bad guy again and go, closing another one. We know they did well when we promoted that game, and it was a really big success, but we're gonna have to close them. It's probably. What would a big corporation rather do? Try and like save face and like justify the closure by saying, the game didn't do well, or like try and make the money back and then just have to be the bad guy anyway. I don't know.
Well, they've got this new multi-platform strategy, haven't they? So it could well be that it shows up somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe.
I will say that the sound design and music is absolutely gorgeous. Like it's really, really good. I mean, the first game was obviously brilliant, and the whole like huge selling point is the sound design, but some of the music and sound is just really well done. Like the way that they build the atmosphere is it's really great. So I think I'm sad. I'm playing it and I feel sad because I'm like, I am worried about Ninja Theory. trust Xbox with them. It's just it's a shame.
Hopefully that doesn't come to pass.
Hopefully.
Obviously, they're an exceptional studio. I just think it's what is going on over there. We're going to talk about predictions for Summer Game Fest and various other things in our big discussion, but Xbox's conference is gonna have to be something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll see. I have played a few things. I felt like I was I didn't feel like life could get any better when I was able to play RuneScape in the Canary Islands on my phone while drinking unlimited alcohol. That was a peak moment for me. So I didn't play much RuneScape. I was just absent-mindedly clicking around. And I was like, this is silly that I can do this now.
More like absinthe-mindedly. Am I right?
That's good. He's so funny. It wasn't absinthe. It was vodka. Yeah, absolutely. Local spirits. Additionally, I played a bit more Wonderlands. I returned to Doom, the 1993 one. I've given up on Doom. It's just not fun. It's just not. Sorry, it's not fun.
Whoa.
In 2024, with no nostalgia, I'm really bored.
They're gonna get you, Ben.
I got through. I think there's 4 worlds of X many levels, and I got halfway through World 3, and I was like, I'm just tired of. At the end, it tells you the par time, like how fast you could finish it. And that I'm usually, like the par time will be anywhere between 45 seconds and 5 minutes. And I'm always there at like 15 minutes. And like, I know I found 78% of the secrets. Thank you for telling me, because I was desperately looking for the bloody keys I needed to get out of this sodding maze. Every level's a sodding maze.
I haven't played any Doom games before either. And I have always thought like, I should probably play Doom at some point. But even when I've had those thoughts, I've basically said, I would probably want to go from the sort of 64-bit era onwards when it became 3D, or like same with Quake and stuff like that. Like, I know that it's the originals that are the real pedigree kind of, seminal games, but equally, I don't want to play like...
You can be bothered.
A sprite-based first-person shooter.
They are rightly put on a pedestal, and they are highly competent games. And as I said last time, it's a decent port, and it controls well. But every new level, I felt like I was just racing to the end of the game so I could move on to something else. But I wasn't actively enjoying it, and so I have unfortunately removed that from my hard drive, and I will not be going back to it. But I have now played some Doom, and I can confirm, not for me. I said the same thing about Dark Forces when I was playing that earlier this year, that without the Star Wars license, I would find it quite tedious.
Nostalgia.
And that's precisely what I had with Doom. So anyway, I went from that to Grand Theft Auto 3 from the definitive trilogy collector's collection. Still broken.
The best way to play.
Yeah. I read a book when I was on holiday about the development of Grand Theft Auto as a series, and also Rockstar and the Hauser brothers and stuff, and it was really interesting. And I thought, you know what, I've got a hankering for some crime. So I went home and I installed GTA 3. And
why 3, may I ask?
Because a lot of the majority of the game, the majority of the book focused on 3 and about the big leap and step up from 2 and 1. So I thought I'll do that one, because I've dabbled in Vice City before, but not played it all the way through. And obviously I played San Andreas relatively recently. So I installed 3 and I thought, man, how broken is it going to be? And immediately in the opening panning shot, there's like textures popping in, stuff doesn't appear properly, it's chugging, and I'm thinking, again, like it's such worn ground at this point, but what a crime.
Yeah.
Was it Grove Street Games, or whatever they were called, whatever studio they got to? What a flipping crime that is, that they were able to do that and murder those games
with
in
the
such
AI
a fashion.
like remastering, like some of the mod. There was that guy on the bike whose neck was like
with the horrible necromorph arms.
So funny.
Yeah.
Also, I did find several instances of text on like shop windows that had been AI upscaled and was just gibberish.
Yeah.
Didn't make it, and they haven't fixed it.
No,
it's
there's
appalling.
no incentive to fix it.
Absolutely appalling. I know I'm part of the problem because I own it, but at the same time, outrageous.
Everyone who's gonna buy it has bought it, and they're like,
they don't care.
Yeah,
damage is done. Anyway, I'm about 8 hours into that, and I'm definitely hitting a lot of the walls that I was in San Andreas, which is, please checkpoints for the love of God.
It's far more checkpoint friendly than it used to be.
Oh
though.
yeah. At least it lets you restart from the start of the mission.
Yeah.
But you get so far through a mission, like the time limits are ridiculous. The instructions are unclear. You're like right at the end of a mission, and then your flipping car just rolls over for no reason because the controls are awful, and it explodes and you lose. And it's like, this is the most infuriating game I've ever played.
I think that was the first time playing it in that version was the first time I completed GTA 3. I used to play it loads as a kid, but I was just sort of too young to really kind of focus and be good enough to complete it. And I remember getting to the end of that thinking like, God, fancy that being the way that I finally finished that game.
Yeah.
You know? And you really are up against it sometimes.
It's good, and I am on the whole enjoying it, but I tell you what's not fun is having each mission that you do, you have to replay it like 6 or 7 times before you A, work out what you need to do, and B, manage to get through without some nonsense happening that stops you. I should say that same with San Andreas, I'm playing it without cheats. Yeah. So I'm not like looking for crazy invulnerability or whatever. I'm trying to actually finish it properly. So I think even though I've only played it for 8 hours, I'm not mucking about. I'm sort of, I've got all 3 islands, and I would imagine out of the 3 of the trilogy in the collector's collection, it's probably the shortest. So I feel like I'm most of the way through, but I don't know. I'm going to keep playing it now, and that's what I played.
Nice.
Well, now it's time to find out what's coming out in June. We're halfway through 2024, and isn't it going well? If you're not a developer, publisher, or QA tester, that is. As we know, this month is the gamer month, with many showcases stacked to take place in the coming few weeks, as well as a few games dropping at the same time. So here is your June gaming forecast. If you currently have a clear weekend on June 7th, 8th and 9th, I hate to break it to you, but you've got a lot of gaming showcases to watch. It all starts at 10 PM BST, 2 PM Pacific time on June 7th with Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, and carries on June 8th from 4 PM with the 5 consecutive showcases, beginning with Future of Play Direct and ending with Future Games Fest. Then, if that isn't enough, June 9th is the Xbox Showcase and COD Deep Dive starting at 6 PM BST and following into the 10th annual PC Gaming Show. We've heard nothing so far as to a date for Nintendo or PlayStation shows, but I am almost certain that there's one coming. All the shows are set to be on YouTube and Twitch and will hopefully bring lots of exciting games to feed us for the next 12 months. And you can catch our live reactions to Summer Game Fest and the Xbox Showcase on YouTube. From the creators of Dear Esther and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, The Chinese Room is a new narrative horror title, Still Wakes the Deep. Set on one of the top 3 spookiest places, a remote oil rig off the coast of Scotland in 1975, you'll play as electrician Kaz, who's found himself trapped on the rig with a mysterious monster. The oil rig is falling apart due to a catastrophic event, and you have to solve puzzles, explore and hide from monsters while you try to escape. This psychological horror nightmare launches on PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series on June 18th. Big one for those masochists out there now, with the release of the Elden Ring DLC, Shadow of the Erd Tree. From Software's 2022 blockbuster is set to receive its first DLC on June 21st, and tells the story of Melania's twin brother Miquella in the new Land of Shadow area. We already know how good Elden Ring is, and not to jinx it, but I am hopeful this will be more of what people love about the game. Although it is a bit pricey as a DLC for $34.99, it launches on PC, PlayStation and Xbox Series. When I think of this next series, I have distinct memories of losing my flip while playing it thanks to the Wii's wonky controllers, that being the Super Monkey Ball games. Dropping June 25th exclusively on Switch is Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. Play in either 4-player co-op or alone through the adventure mode, or join into a banana rumble with 16 players online. Dress up your monkey and become the top banana later this month. So that's it for now, but I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about next month once we've enjoyed literally hours and hours of showcases. Wow, thanks me.
Thanks, Ashton.
What a story, Mark.
That was great.
You're welcome. I'm a bit sad though, because I really wanted I didn't talk about it because it's no longer come out in June, but they were meant to do an early access for Life by You, which is the Sims thing from the guy who made Sims 1. Was supposed to go in early access this month, but
but not.
They said they're not doing that anymore.
Oh.
So I'm a bit
man.
sad because I was really excited to give it a go. It was like one of the ones on my list. I was like, can't wait for this to come out. And now look at this. Elden Ring, though.
The DLC?
The DLC.
DLC.
Yeah, not excited yet.
No?
No?
Yeah, I'm struggling. And there's a fight going on inside of me, which is...
You should be excited.
You should be excited. Why aren't you? What's going on there? Is it external forces, or are you just sort of not that interested? What's up with that? Huh?
I bet you will be when it comes
Yeah.
I hope so. I'm sure it'll release, and I'll go, okay. But then I feel like I need to replay Elden Ring, and it's so long.
You don't need to
I don't
replay
have
it.
time.
You don't need to do that.
Shooting baddies and rolling cars over.
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Well, now it's time for question 2, and it comes from Dan Clapper.
Has anyone ever done that before?
And Dan has
Almost
revoked
certainly.
his Patreon support.
Yeah. Hey BAP, Microsoft has ended speculation and announced that this year's Call of Duty will be on Game Pass day 1. Do you think this will be enough to get Game Pass numbers going back up? Blop 6, everyone.
Blop 6.
Excited
Ready
for-
for them to whack the number
Blops.
6 on.
6.
Felt like they were scared of numbers for a long time.
Yeah.
Especially going as high as 6.
Well, sometimes they just kept using the same ones.
Well, that's it. But they changed them from Roman numerals to like Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3 were Arabic numbers. And then the new Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, Roman numerals. So very different numbers.
I think that they should just use regular numbers. We don't need Roman numerals anymore.
No.
What would we
We're
no,
past,
what-
Roman
we're past the age where we need stupid Roman numerals. Just put 1, 2, and 3.
I just want,
God damn
what's
it.
it? I want tallies.
Yeah.
When you do 5, you just
And the
cross
little
over the
fence.
fight. Yeah, the
Yeah.
fence, the
I want a
picket
little
fence.
semaphore man with flags. That would be good.
What would we? Oh God, that's hard to say. What would be? What would we be on
Yeah.
if Call of Duty was just numbered every entry?
Oh,
We'll be on like
God,
Call of
like
Duty
13?
20,
Like
Oh, probably
including
more than
like
that, yeah.
remasters and remakes.
maybe not remasters,
No.
but like each new
But-
game.
Probably at least 17 or 18, I think.
Because they did the 5 was Call of Duty World at War. Was that 5 or was it just Call of Duty World at War? They did Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Yeah, well, but even going back,
I wanna
if you
say it was.
if you really want to get serious about this,
Yeah.
they did like some spin-offy things even back on. Like, there was like a Call of Duty 2 spin-off,
Big red one.
big
Well,
red
there's-
one.
There's
Yeah.
also like Vanguard, which isn't technically one because they have the historical ones,
Yeah.
don't they, as well as their
Advanced Warfare,
main
Infinite
entries.
Warfare as well.
Yeah.
Which were not part of a sub-series.
Mm-hmm.
Confusing. Anyway, good news though for Game Pass subscribers.
It is
Yeah.
good news for Game Pass subscribers, yes. I find it. I think this is a very interesting case because Call of Duty is a game that has such mass appeal, and potentially this could really be a draw to Game Pass for certain gamers. So, like generally speaking, you might assume that the bulk of the Game Pass audience at the moment is people who play a variety of games. Maybe they're a big Xbox, Microsoft fan, and you know that's what they're in it for. They want to play all sorts of things. Call of Duty like appeals to those people, but also appeals to people who literally just play Call of Duty and maybe FIFA and maybe like 1 or 2 other things every year. But it really means something to them. Like Call of Duty is like their big game release every time it happens. So potentially,
every year. I think you mean when it
well,
comes
every
out,
time it happens, every year. Yes, every 3 months they get really excited about the next Call of Duty. So potentially, if that sort of gamer is even really aware of Game Pass, because we are in such an echo chamber and we kind of assume that everyone knows all the big points about gaming, but there could still be a huge proportion of maybe COD fans or amateur or not amateur, sort of hobbyist, lightweight gamers.
I don't know. I think as soon as you found out that Call of Duty now belongs to Xbox, if you're a big Call of Duty fan, you're going to be more like, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm thinking more about the kind of
The average Joe.
Who still puts a pre-order in a game and goes to pick it up on release day.
That's the kind
And
of
you know what?
person.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for
Yeah,
them. Ciaran did that
support your-
recently.
Yeah.
I think with Assassin's Creed, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Picked it
that's
up.
retro.
That
Yeah,
is
Good
it
for
is.
you,
retro.
Ciaran.
Big time.
Because you're right, if you're a big Call of Duty fan, you probably are like that into it that you understand a lot more about like gaming and stuff. But the kind of person who maybe just goes to game to get their Call of Duty once a year, they might not even be aware of this. So if you can get that information in front of them, hey, for the price of your Call of Duty purchase you're going to make this year, you can play it for free by signing up to Game Pass, that could actually be a really big get for them. There could be an untapped proportion of like the Call of Duty audience in particular that maybe will bring in some big numbers here. Don't know.
I think that unless it was exclusive to Game Pass, unless it was exclusive to Xbox, which they are not allowed to do, that this won't necessarily draw any more people in to Game Pass than would have already been playing it on Game Pass. Do I think that people on Xbox who haven't had Game Pass before might just be like, yeah, I want to play COD, I will play it on Game Pass? Probably.
Yeah.
But do I think the PlayStation players will be like, best get Game Pass so I can play my COD? No.
Yeah.
I don't
agree.
think they will. I think that like we still live in a world where people are set in their ways when it comes to their console. I think that us three are kind of, we swing both ways a little bit, and we'll play on most things. But some people, like your average Joes, will have one console that they have had since they were 12 and will only play games on that console. And as long as games come out, like Call of Duty, on their chosen console, they have no reason to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Admittedly, yeah, okay, we could play Call of Duty for $7.99 for a month, but the average Call of Duty player plays Call of Duty until the next Call of Duty comes out. So, like, they potentially end up spending more money over the course of the 12 months between games than they would by just buying the game. Admittedly, it's going to be like how much it costs. It's probably going to be, 70 quid? Normally, they're around 70. So, 10 months, 8 months, and you've paid for your game. So yeah, maybe more people will, but I don't see this being the big draw to Game Pass that Microsoft may think it is. I mean, it's great, and I'm glad as someone who has Game Pass that they're doing this, but I wouldn't buy Game Pass just to play Call of Duty. Having said that, though, my boyfriend only buys a month of Game Pass when something's coming out that he wants to play, whereas I
did it for Starfield.
Yeah, more often than not, will have. I think I've paid my Game Pass membership for like 3 years now, because I'm pretty much can always find something I want to play. And normally they're adding games on, or there's games already in the backlog that I have wanted to give a go and are now available to me. But I don't see necessarily it bringing loads of new players in, but I do see it getting people to activate their subscriptions for a month or two and play through the game that they enjoy. I don't think it's going to be like the Game Pass defibrillator that maybe they might want it to be, but I do think it will at least increase it a little bit from people who they already have on their books, so to speak.
Yeah. I think the point you guys made about really this is aiming to bring in the casual audience is bang on the money. But although that they have pushed quite hard that you can play Game Pass anywhere, I think most of that audience is not really going to want to faff about with cloud gaming. They're still going to want a box, at which point they're going to have to buy an Xbox, which is probably enough of a barrier to entry. Or a computer, which is probably still enough of a barrier to entry that they are not going to immediately jump on board. I think there will obviously...
A game like COD, also, you're not going to want to play on cloud gaming, even if it wasn't a faff. Like, you don't want any lag or anything. It's a game.
It says so on your shirt. It says
lag. Sorry, I haven't
good internet.
I haven't slammed the desk in a while. Do you mind if I...
Go for it.
Thank
you.
Occasional desk slam. I do feel better.
Such a gamer.
Yes. They're going to need an Xbox, probably, or they're going to want an Xbox for the optimal experience. So that's going to take a while to bring people around on that. And so while I wholeheartedly believe that there will obviously be a bump when it first releases, or when probably every year when it goes on, there'll be a bump for that month.
Yeah,
I will probably subscribe for that month to
but
play
that's
it.
the same with every big game that they put on Game Pass. It's not going to be necessarily like COD exclusive, this bump. Like they probably got a bump when it came to Starfield, but I don't think it was a spike they were intending.
Maybe not. They want to get people into the ecosystem, and like once you come for COD, but then you see that there's other games that maybe I want to try. But as you've said, if this is the casual market that Microsoft really want to get in here with Call of Duty, are they really going to be interested in anything else that's on Game Pass? Even though there's a lot to play, are they really going to stay subscribed? Or is it just going to be a Call of Duty thing once a year? Because I do believe that there will be, because of Call of Duty going on there, a steady increase for as many years as Game Pass is a thing. But it's going to be slow, and it's going to be more of a word of mouth thing. Yeah. It's going to be, my friend has an Xbox and he doesn't have to pay £70 for Call of Duty this year. Why is that? Oh, it's because of that. Well, I spent £600 on a PlayStation 5 or whatever, so I'm not buying another console right now. And then maybe as it goes by, you get more. There's better sales on Xboxes. Maybe you're tempted to get an Xbox so that the game that you want, you can get for free every year. But would
you rather pay 70 quid for a game or pay £200 for an Xbox?
Well, exactly. It's whatever's most important to you, and that's going to be a really difficult decision for a lot of people, especially within this audience that are going to be probably Microsoft's desired niche of gamer. But there was another point I was going to make. I've totally forgotten about it now. They don't want to pay £70 a year anymore. So the only way that's going to happen is if it's going to be an eventual climb. However, the only way this is going to actually go anywhere is if Microsoft shout about it all the time.
Yeah.
They will not. They cannot stop talking about how Call of Duty is on their day one, and they cannot mix up their messaging either. I don't want to see adverts that say something like Call of Duty day one as part of your Game Pass subscription. No, you need to say, hey, tired of spending £65 on Call of Duty? Get it for free with your Game Pass subscription. Here's promotional monster cans where you get a month of Game Pass for free or something. They really need to hammer home that you are making a huge saving on the biggest franchise in the entire world if you subscribe to Game Pass. It can't be all this sort of meager-mouthed like, ooh, it's on Game Pass now. What does that mean to someone who doesn't know what Game Pass is?
Yeah,
they're going to just need to keep. I think it will. I think honestly, Game Pass numbers will go up because of Call of Duty. Obviously, there'll be the spike every year, but as I said, if there's going to be a steady climb, which there should be, it's going to be slow. But they need to have the right messaging, and they can't Hellblade it.
They can't. No, but I don't think they would, because Activision would. They've got a much bigger marketing budget, I would assume, so they can do it themselves.
It's a $69 billion thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just think that, like, if this was an exclusive, absolutely more people would play it.
Yeah.
But because they can't make it an exclusive, because they promised they weren't going to for like 10 years, we'll have to see.
Yeah, you're right, Ashton, that it's not going to pull any PlayStation people to Game Pass necessarily.
Yeah.
Not in a big way.
Until you can play Game Pass on PlayStation.
Well, exactly. That would be it, isn't it? That would be the thing. This is where I feel, honestly, the Game Pass gamble, for want of a better word, is going to start to come to a head. You spent $69 billion. Realistically, Call of Duty is the main thing that you wanted. You are now going to miss out on Call of Duty sales pretty much across your entire Xbox ecosystem. And you're tempting other people onto Game Pass who would then also not have to spend money on Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Are you going to see enough people sign up to Game Pass to offset that loss?
Yeah.
And how long is that going to take to offset?
If you can charge £70 for a game, why then can you justify $7.99 for a game? If you're thinking that everyone who's going to go on Game Pass and pay $7.99 or $10.99 to play it for a month, if you're thinking all of those people are going to do it for Call of Duty, how are you going to justify the making 10% of what you could have made
by selling it
to them? It's going to be interesting.
Especially if a new one comes out every year, because you can't even hope that people will just play that game for like 3 years. You know,
it's going to be it's a gamble. This is the whole thing with Game Pass, but this one it feels like the stakes are higher because of how much money has gone into making this happen. How many people are going to be playing the game day one? Probably more than ever in history, because you'll have the people who are going to buy Call of Duty anyway, and everyone who has Game Pass will be like, all right, I'll give it a go. And that is what they'll shout about, is that because of Game Pass, more people day one have played Call of Duty than ever before. It's like, great. but how much money did you make from Call of Duty this year as opposed to
And then
other
they'll
years?
shut Activision down.
And then they'll shut all of Activision down. I don't know. It's really interesting. Like I'm all for it in terms of it going on Game Pass because I like Call of Duty and I have access to Game Pass, so that's great for me. It's great for lots of people.
Same.
But what's the strategy?
Yeah.
How's it going to work out?
Well, it is a little bit strange, you could say.
A little bit weird, peculiar.
A little bit weird. It's weird news.
It's weird news time. Time to talk about some weird video game news. Remember, you can submit some weird video game news to us under the relevant social media post that goes out on a Tuesday. However, if you'd like to guarantee a shout out at this point in the podcast, you need to go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump and support us at the appropriate tier to become a podcast producer, just like
Chip Thompson's thumbs.
GY Goliath.
It's very distracted what
Yeah.
Peter did with his thumbs there. Nexus Polaris,
Nicole Hansen.
Andy Scott.
Blake Thomas,
Kyle Gary.
Eric Siu.
Shaman Nomo,
Great Giggity.
Melody Elbonet.
Katie Garrett,
Hugh Joss.
Gabrielle Philippink.
Potato Shack 99.
And Big Money Bobby Vegas.
We got Peter.
Got some weird news here that was sent to us by Cameron Keywood, I believe. It's according to Kotaku. Oh, good. My app's just refreshed. So the tweet that I had open is now gone.
Good.
But it's according to Kotaku, and it's all about how Belle Delphine, is it Bella or Belle?
Bell, I think.
Belle Delphine's bathwater put her in debt. Here we go. I've loaded it.
Okay.
I accept cookies. This is written by Ethan Gack on Kotaku. OnlyFans star behind Gamer Girl Bathwater says it put her $90,000 in debt with PayPal for years.
What?
Belle Delphine never made a dime from selling bottled bathwater to fans until now. We may earn a commission from links on this page.
From Belle Delphine.
From Belle. Cosplayer and OnlyFans creator Belle Delphine recently revealed that she earned no money from her 2019 viral Gamer Girl bathwater stunt because PayPal was charging her weird fees. Is that a fee for being weird?
Unfortunately, it's a weird
This
tax.
is weird, so yeah.
We're just gonna charge you some more.
And keeping the funds for itself. Almost 5 years later, Business Insider reports that the internet celebrity's biggest L has finally turned into a W as PayPal has decided to refund her the money she'd
Business
earned.
Insider said that.
Business Insider said it, apparently. They refunded the money she earned after getting called out online. Since it's been a couple of years now, I can finally share the biggest L I've ever taken. And maybe she said it and they quoted
Right.
it. Delphine tweeted on May the 6th. Not only did I not earn any money selling my bathwater, I in fact lost money doing it. PayPal, without any warning, closed my PayPal account and took the $90,000 I earned from selling my bathwater. There was nothing I could do. I tried phoning them up and they just said, "Sorry, nothing we can do." I knew it would be a better news story to say that I made so much money from selling my bathwater, so I just kept this secret. Ultimately, I'm still glad I did it since it was a really funny time on the internet when it happened, and I still did mail out all the bathwater people bought from me, which I did all by myself. So that's what it says.
How old is she? All by myself.
So flip PayPal, I guess.
PayPal is a flipping nightmare, to be fair, for selling stuff. The fees and them holding on to the money for ages. We sold stuff through a shop, didn't we?
Yeah.
And they're just like, nah, you can have it in a bit. Like, what? It's my money. Give it to me.
That's literally mine.
Yeah. It was $30 per jar. It's now just, the recap section of the article. But yeah, there you go.
$90,000. So all she had was income, and they were like, "Nah, it's going to be $90,000."
Oh, okay. Here we go. Delphine now explains that selling the bathwater was apparently a violation of PayPal's terms of service, with each infringement costing her $2,500. She said the company would tell her at the time what the problem was, but the end result was that all of her revenue from sales of the Gamer Girl bathwater was seemingly confiscated. I don't know if that's a typo, and maybe it's meant to say wouldn't tell her. So I don't know if it's because they don't allow sex workers to use their platform, or if they had a specific issue with me selling bathwater. Regardless, not even knowing felt flip. So yeah, I don't think they did tell her.
She only sold 36 jars of bathwater.
Oh, really?
If that number is
Oh,
to
I
be
see.
believed.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Unless-
if she's mailing it all by herself,
Yeah.
then yeah, that would be tedious to.
I don't believe that she only sold 36
I agree.
bathwater.
There was, I
feels
seem
low,
to remember
doesn't it?
her having a limit. I think she said there was only going to be X amount. But yeah, you'd think it would be more than that. But maybe
How much was she selling
PayPal.
them for?
I'm not sure. It might say
I
on.
said $30.
Oh yeah, $30.
It's not a lot, is
But
it?
maybe PayPal only.
Well, I don't think it was about the bathwater. I think it was about the fame.
How much?
Yeah.
How much for the jars?
Maybe PayPal only
30.
flagged certain sales, like certain transactions, and not every single one,
She's not made a lot of money on this, I've got to say.
hasn't she?
So when I said how much for the jars, I meant like the materials. She had to buy the
Oh,
containers
right, yeah,
as
yeah.
well. So not
And the water bill.
and the
Yeah.
postage. So not considering the water bill, the postage,
And the matey, the bottle of matey,
and the bottle of matey to make it all frothy in the bath.
Yeah,
She only walked away with £1,000, £1,080,
wow, and some
and
fame.
was $90,000 in debt.
Apparently, yeah.
Jesus, Belle, you're a terrible businesswoman.
She must have sold more than that. I've got to assume that PayPal only flagged some of the transactions.
I think she could have sold the bathwater for a lot more. If she only had 36, there would have been some.
How many baths do you got to take to
lunatics.
fill up 36 jars of water?
People did crazy
Like a
stuff
maths
with it, right? Like they put it in
They drunk it.
dehumidifiers, they drunk it,
Yeah.
they like vaped it, all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Mad.
That's
Perverts.
basically it. That's the story. So weird.
Oh, it's nice to follow up on it though, because
Yeah.
we did talk about it back in the day.
Yeah, I
didn't we?
wonder
Yeah.
about that every day. I'm like, I wonder
How's Belle doing?
Is she still doing it all by herself?
£1,080. It's not a lot.
All publicity is good publicity.
It's true. She made a lot more money
Oh,
off
absolutely.
the back of
Of people going to her OnlyFans, almost
Yeah,
certainly. Right. I have some news from PC Gamer, and this was submitted by Jay Cashmere. Submitted by, not submitted, written by Harvey Randall. This Nier Automata wine has been existentially aged by being forced to listen to the game's soundtrack on loop.
Existentially
Huh?
aged.
Is
Yeah.
it possible to experience
Turns out the
existential-
S in 9S stands for sommelier.
God.
Right.
Bloody hell.
Okay.
Games get a lot of tat attached to them to bump that bottom line. Boring t-shirts, $45 posters for unreleased games, the works.
$30 for bathwater.
$30 for bathwater. Sometimes you'll get diamonds in the rough that genuinely give you something cool, but there's a secret third option between tat and genuine novelty. Ordinary things executed with such perfect marketing. Fiat? Marketing Fiat? Like a Fiat 500.
Who's marketing Fiat?
Perfect marketing Fiat.
Where is it?
Just there where my thumb is.
Huh.
Fiat? Is that just
With
a...
such
Perfect marketing Fiat that you've
Define
just got to throw your hands up and say, shoot, you got me.
a formal authorization or proposition? A decree,
Huh.
apparently.
Wow.
You learn something new every day.
Goodness
don't
me. What an article.
you? Such is the case with these 2 bottles of probably okay wine announced back in February. The buzz around these finely aged drafts of existential dread only kicked up recently on Twitter, going viral to the tune of 69,000 likes.
Nice.
So this is a tweet from Brando SP at SP Brando. Very clever.
See what he did there.
Who else is going to buy the
a
Nier
funny
Automata
guy.
wine that they, checks notes, aged in an oak barrel while forcing it to listen to the original soundtrack?
It's not a sunflower.
No.
To listen to.
Honestly,
Forcing it to listen to with its ears.
honestly, while $80 is a little pricey for some wine, you do also get a nice glass and the novelty of knowing that both bottles were aged by listening to the game's gorgeous soundtrack on loop. They're
Gorgeous.
even themed too, with different cardinal beverages for 2B and 9S, who of course had bespoke selections of music scientifically infused into their molecular structure. Because we're already forcing wine to listen to the game's original soundtrack, you've got to commit to the bit. I would now invite you to imagine me as one of the little machine life forms that you meet at Pascal's village with a precious tuxedo on, presenting you the bottles in a fancy restaurant somewhere. You don't have to, but it would make me happy. Okay, Harvey.
I'm picturing it right now.
I don't know what you look like, Harvey. Anyway, this beautifully blooming rufescent red entitled 2B has been given the understanding that all things will rot by being made to listen to the sound of the end, rebirth and hope, crumbling lines, version 1.1a, girls' memories, and lest we forget, weight of the world / English version. If that's not to your taste, it's twinned with a delectable cherry sibling that has been infused with a blind hatred for machines like myself, with an audio bath of the songs Widespread Disease, City Ruins, Ray of Light, Faltering Prayer, Dawn Breeze, Copied City,
Make it stop.
and to make sure the notes of Malaise pair with the 2B, Weight of the World, English version. If neither beverage is to your liking, you may cut me in half with a giant sword.
I will.
Honestly, the idea behind these things is just the right amount of stupid to be worth doing. Is it?
Is it?
Yes, it's some less than value wine, and we just have to take Onkyo Direct's word that they were actually aged to music. But the joke is so funny that I'm going to choose to believe it anyway. Besides, I need something to drink while wondering if we'll actually get another near game or whether Yoko Taro's just pulling our leg again.
Classic Yoko Taro.
Shall I show you the picture of the barrel listening to the music?
Yeah.
Does it have a big pair of headphones on?
Is it a barrel next
it's
to a
not
speaker
loading
by any
anymore.
chance? Is that what I'm going to see?
No, it's not. There, I accidentally. Oh, here we are. It's just kind of looks like it's got C4 strapped to the front.
It does look like a bomb.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Yeah.
English version.
I've got some weird news.
Oh yeah.
This was submitted by me to me.
Oh.
And it's from PC Gamer, written by Tyler Culp. Diablo 4's strongest weapon isn't a weapon at all. It's a deadly potion capable of dealing billions of damage.
Wow.
Cool.
Billions of damage.
Billions of damage. Technically, Diablo 4's latest season doesn't have a unique power like Season 2's vampiric abilities or Season 3's robot spider pet. Instead, there are a couple of seasonal elixirs that speed up the leveling process so that you can get your hands on the new crafting systems. What a boring sentence. But players who are pushing into the highest levels of The Pit, a new, extremely challenging dungeon type, have discovered that one of those seasonal elixirs might be the strongest seasonal power the game has ever had.
Say seasonal again.
The seasonal elixir of Holy Bolts sends spears of light out from the corpse of a recently slain enemy, and those spears are dealing billions of damage due to what seems like a bug. The maths under the hood is still unknown, but its damage appears to scale way higher than it should. Minions, for example, mirror the stats from the necromancer controlling them, but when they kill an enemy, the bolts deal double the amount of damage you'd expect. In the Pit, the elixir of Holy Bolts is required for anyone pushing into tiers above 100, where monsters would otherwise take too long to kill to beat the 15-minute timer. And then players have been doing custom builds just to use the explodey bolts, and the entire fan base or player base at that level at least is sort of tearing itself apart a little bit because some of them think it's cheating, while others are saying it's literally not doable without the billy bolts. So there we are.
Wow.
Not that weird, but
Very
short
odd.
and sweet.
Did it make that elixir listen to World at War English
version. I certainly hope so.
Do you know what's not short and sweet?
What?
The not short, big, in fact, discussion.
Whoa. It's big discussion time for the big video game discussion that this week comes courtesy of Jens Herman, and then it says in parentheses, consider your question hijacked.
I hijacked the question. Originally, it was about the PlayStation State of Play that's happening tonight at time of recording.
Yeah.
But I've hijacked it so we could talk about something else.
Okay.
So this question didn't actually
But the main body of it,
So what you've done
I've hijacked a question.
is you've Weekend at Bernie's Jens Herman.
Yeah.
He's dead, and you've put him into...
I've made him into a sock puppet, and I've said, this is his question.
This is what Jens said. It's
Yeah.
not what Jens said. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jens, for your question. Hey, Obap.
He said that.
Okay. What?
Did he say all
he
of
say
this
what?
up
What
to
kind
the-
of games are you expecting? And then the only bit he didn't write is the bit in the bracket.
Can you cover
Okay.
your mouth at the end of the sentence and say during SGF weekend?
Sure, okay.
Right.
Hey, Obap. What kind of games are you expecting to see during FDF weekend? Wasn't quite what you asked for.
No.
but
No,
it's
it sounded like you just got
works.
gagged.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened to Jens, I can only assume. So we're going to talk about Summer Game Fest. Why are we not talking about Summer Game Fest next week?
Because it'll already be happening / happened if we wait till next week.
Yeah.
We've got an awkward recording time of Thursday. So if we record next week, we'll have nothing to talk about. And also by the time it goes out, some of the things that we're going to talk about our
Yeah.
predictions here. Some of the things we'll be predicting will have already happened.
Yeah,
so
we'd have missed the stream where we are doing our predictions and stuff.
And the predictions really do matter. We're not just having a little chit chat on the podcast.
Oh, no.
It's back. It's big prediction time
yes.
for Video Game Christmas.
Pew, pew, pew.
We haven't done this for a little while since the death of E3, where, if you are not familiar, Peter and I used to go head to head in a predictions contest. The loser would have to leave town for a month and would be replaced by someone who looked suspiciously like them and sounded like them, but actually wasn't them.
Yeah.
So we had Dick Mychinko twice, and we've had
Yeah.
Brian Bumpus once. But with Ashton thrown into the mix this time, there could be a third person. Now, we haven't decided what the name of that third person is just yet. If you go to
We have some funny
patreon.com
options.
/Team TripleJump, there should be a poll available now running for the next week, Thursday to Thursday, where you can vote for which is your favorite. And then should Ashton lose the predictions contest,
Which I'm not going to.
which she's not because she's really good, would then replace Ashton for that time. So let's talk about briefly all of the different shows that are taking
Flipping
part
heck,
in
there's
Summer Game Fest.
So many.
There's a lot listed on Summer Game Fest's website anyway, but there are additional ones that do not consider themselves part of Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
Additionally, we were not able to do predictions for, as Jens originally suggested,
The state of play.
State of Play, because that happens at like midnight tonight
Yeah.
at the time of recording, and we're recording today, so we wouldn't be able to cover it
And
anyway.
it's only like half an hour. It's not like a proper showcase, so it's not as exciting.
So, as part of the festivities, kicking things off tonight, Thursday the 30th of May, it's PlayStation State of Play.
Yes.
Also today, apparently, is Marvelous Showcase, which I believe is showing some mobile games and stuff like that. Also today is the Silent Hill transmission, where hopefully they'll try and desperately persuade us that Silent Hill is absolutely fine, even though everything they've done so far has been a total disaster.
Yeah.
On Thursday, the 6th of June, we have the Guerrilla Collective online showcase. On the 7th of June, we have IGN Live 2024. Also, on the, did I say which day of June that was? Sunday the 9th of June?
Seven-
Oh, no, sorry, that
7th,
runs
you said.
between the 7th and the 9th. My
Right.
mistake.
I think that's just them reacting to all the shows.
Probably is, yeah. I took this from Eurogamer. There's a link below where you can look at all these for yourself. On Friday, the 7th of June, there is the Accessibility Summer Showcase 2024. Also, on Friday, the 7th of June, it's the big one. It's Summer Game Fest 2024 opening showcase,
Yeah.
which is the main reason we're here.
Yeah.
All your friends will be there. Jeff Keighley, that guy who always gets on the stage and asks about Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the main ones.
Yeah.
Those two will
Those
both be
two
there.
will
Yeah,
be
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
And the Bill Clinton guy.
Ah, yeah, him too.
GTA guy's in jail, isn't he? I think.
I hope
think
so.
I think he
No,
is.
he was killed by Jeff Keighley. He was
Yeah.
taken out back.
Murdered off stage.
Yeah.
Summer Game Fest is followed up immediately by Day of the Devs 2024. Also on Friday is the Devolver Digital Direct. On Saturday, the 8th of June, we've got Future of Play Direct, Wholesome Direct, the Latin American Games Showcase, the Women-Led Games Showcase.
So what I think's really funny,
What's
just
that?
before we carry on, the Women-Led Games Showcase is got the same branding as Summer Game Fest,
Yes.
and I just think it's really funny that he was like,
Can't possibly integrate them.
We need a separate show. We'll
Yeah.
put all the women in this.
yeah. He's like, you can't tell me any women. I put a whole show for women.
Look, it looks the same in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. Only it's Jeff Keighley in a wig.
But that's why they're not allowed in the main Summer
Yeah.
Game Fest
They
event.
have their own show.
Yeah.
They have their own day. It's
Yeah.
fine.
And your host, Jeff Sheely.
Jess Sheely.
Jess Sheely. Also on Saturday the 8th, it's a busy day. Future Games Summer Showcase.
It's a real one after the other kind of day.
Then we've got Sunday, which is the Xbox Games Showcase and Black Ops 6 Direct. PC Gaming Show.
It's their 10th anniversary
The PC Gaming Show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
and 10 years of cringe.
On Monday the 10th, we've got Ubisoft Forward. And at some point in June, we don't have a date yet, we have a Nintendo Direct happening as well.
It's absolutely mental.
Those are all the things. We're not going to be able to react to all of them, obviously. So we have chosen 3 to react to. The first will be Summer Game Fest, which is on the Friday at 10 p.m. BST. We'll be reacting to that on YouTube.
I'll be there a little bit early.
We will be there a little bit early just to go through our predictions again, so we're all on the same page. Then we will be reacting on Twitch to the Future Game Show, which is Saturday at 8 p.m. BST. That will just be Ashton and myself.
No predictions in that.
No predictions for that
Supplementary
one.
reaction
Pete's
stream.
not there, so.
And on Sunday, we will be reacting to the Xbox Showcase, which is at 6 p.m. BST, and we will be doing that on YouTube. So yes, as Peter said, our predictions that we're about to go through, we're limiting them to Summer Game Fest and the Xbox Showcase. We each have 5 predictions. 2 of them we think are likely, 2 of them we think are less likely, and 1 of them we think there's no way that this could possibly happen. But there's points that relate to those as well. So if our likely prediction comes true, we only get 1 point. If our unlikely prediction comes true, or less likely prediction comes true, it's 2 points. And if our no way prediction comes true, it's 3 points. And the person who has the least amount of points at the end of the showcase from Xbox on Sunday will have to go away for a month and be replaced by an artificial intelligence.
They will be on leave, unpaid leave. Unfortunately, so.
A month off sounds delightful.
No pay though.
No.
Yeah, I can get so much done.
What? With no money?
Sitting
What?
Outside. Sitting
Sitting
outside.
outside, yeah. in the rain,
Absorbing
it's nice.
sun.
Yes.
So, how do you want to do it?
Should we start with Summer Game Fest? Since that's the first one. How about one by one, we tell each other what our 2 likely predictions are going to be?
Okay.
Shall I begin?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's pretty likely that we will see some Alan Wake 2 DLC, because I think that's been talked about for a while.
Okay.
Sam Lake's been tweeting about it.
Yeah.
And he's friends with Jeff.
Yeah.
And also a Fatal Fury trailer, because SGK, are they called? Or
SMK?
SMK, yeah.
SNK?
They are
November?
They are confirmed to be there at Summer Games Fest. I don't know if they're confirmed to have something in the main showcase, but if they are, people speculate it's Fatal Fury, but there is no confirmation. So that's merely a likely rumor.
The Alan Wake Twitter changed their all their assets and stuff today.
Oh, okay.
So someone's getting a point then, aren't they?
Shoe in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a shoe in. I have 2 that are likely, but I don't really trust myself anymore about one of them. So 2K have been tweeted about saying that they've got some news on a beloved franchise. And I was like, what franchise do I beloved from 2K?
Beloved.
So I have written that they will announce Borderlands 4 coming 2028.
Oh, so you've specified the year.
I'm just saying, like, it's coming later. Like, it's not gonna be anytime soon.
I don't think we'd dock a point for the year being wrong.
But the reason I thought that was because I keep seeing tweets from the Borderlands account, which are just like snippets of the game, like cutscenes. That's like Lilith, and I know that the flipping movie's coming out, but like, why do they keep tweeting just bits of gameplay? It's really weird.
It would be a good time to announce it with the movie coming.
And that would be
Yeah.
a safe bet as well, saying that there's going to be a movie trailer in the conference at
But
some point.
then I thought, oh, well, Gearbox have just been tossed about by Embracer, so probably either they won't be involved or they'll say it's more of their thing now than 2K. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get a point for that. I've doubted myself a bit too much. And then we know that the guy who made Choo Choo Charles is going to announce his new game. So I think that the Choo Choo Charles guy's new game will end up being a horror game with either Steamboat Mickey or Winnie the Pooh. It'll be like a newly unlicensed character because his other one was a bit like Thomas the Tank Engine. So I'm wondering if it'll be like something
Public
like
domain.
that.
Okay, yeah.
Those are my.
That's good.
I don't know if I'm getting any points for those ones.
Well, the big points are for the less likely predictions. So let's hope you got some good ones for those.
Yeah.
Well, I also cottoned on to the 2K beloved franchise is going to be there, but I've put my weight behind there being a new Mafia game.
Interesting.
And being announced at the showcase. My other one is that Hideo Kojima will be there.
Oh.
That is my prediction.
Does he have to involve himself in some way, or if there's just a shot of him in the crowd?
I am willing to concede that if a Hideo Kojima game is shown, that doesn't count.
But if it's like
Yeah, what if
if
he's
he's
just
if he's
sitting
on the
there going-
screen and he's like, "Hello, Jeff."
Well, I think we all know that Hideo Kojima is not just going to be sat in the crowd.
No.
I mean, I agree.
They're gonna
It's
pull him on
unlikely,
stage.
But
Are you counting that he has to be there
man,
in the
okay.
room,
What
or
do
are
you
you
guys
saying
think?
that if he's on the screen?
What would you allow? What would you permit?
I
Not just one of his games, like Hideo Kojima there.
says hello, Jeff.
Hello,
at some point.
sure.
Like he is specifically.
He's
like,
either
to
on
promote-
stage or he says hello, Jeff, in a video.
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
something.
yeah, he's there to promote a game.
Yeah,
It's not enough.
He doesn't have to necessarily be there.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
as long as he says a bit to camera before his game, I think that counts.
Okay, cool. Well, those are my two likely
It's
predictions.
important to clear these things up because if Jeff just goes, Kojima-san is here, and it just cuts and he goes, and then that's it. Then
I
you
still
know-
think that counts.
Well, I'm not saying it
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying, but we need to clarify whether or like what does
the
count.
rules-
Well,
yeah.
we'll all be drinking Saturday juice, I imagine,
Yeah.
given the time of day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll probably just argue it on the spot, won't we?
We
Yeah,
can always.
yeah.
I've thought as well with some of these. There's bound to be some little nuance that we can poll the chat for.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can just say that. What do you think? Is that a point? I think we did that once in a previous year.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
probably did. Oh, and also just to clarify, we're going to be reacting to this remotely. We're not going to be in the office, so we're not going to be in the same room just because of the time of day and so on.
So, do you want likely Xbox now or unlikely
Let's do
SGF?
unlikely SGF.
Okay. I think that this isn't based on anything, but perhaps a new multiverses kind of Nickelodeon Brawl style crossover brawler game will be revealed for the first time. It has to be something with a pre-established franchise. So it might be a bit cheaty to just be like a new brawler game is announced. It has to be like, oh, there's that character who we know about. I was trying to think of an example, but they've already all been covered. I was going to say Tom and Jerry, and then I was going to say SpongeBob. And both
Spyro.
of those. There's Spyro, yeah. I mean, again, that would probably be
So it's a crossover
Yeah.
brawler.
a
Yeah.
crossover brawler with
Yeah.
characters that haven't just been made for a new game. They
Okay.
are pre-established characters. Yeah. Oh, and the other one, I've just put my phone away. The other one is, I think BioShock 4 maybe could finally make an appearance.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another beloved 2K franchise
Yeah.
as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
I actually maybe this should have been more likely. I think there'll be an advert for a car manufacturer of some kind.
Yeah.
I think it's not going to be my prediction because I've not written it down, but I also think that there'll be two competing like consoles or handheld devices that our adverts are played simultaneously, like one after the other, because I think that's funny. And also, I don't think it's going to get announced tonight, so I would bet that potentially will be announced during SGF is Spider-Man 2's first DLC. It's been a while since that came out, and we haven't had any showcases from PlayStation, and we've only got a state of play today, and I don't think it's going to be Spider-Man. I feel like they would have made it a bit more of a big deal about it if it was Spider-Man. So I think if it's going to be anywhere, it'll be at SGF.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a fair point.
Cool. My two less likely / unlikely predictions for Summer Game Fest are that we will see some of Sega's Crazy Taxi reboot, because they announced that a while back,
That'd be
that they're
nice. They are meant to
rebooting
be
various things. And that a developer will go off script and talk about mass layoffs. I hope someone goes into business for themselves and just doesn't run up on stage or anything, but like when they're being interviewed, just said, maybe we can get a bit more stability in the industry, or, solidarity with all the studios that have been shut down, something like
Yeah.
that. Someone
The guy
might
from
mention
Larian's
it.
not going to be there, though, so you can't guarantee.
They're not going to let him out.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. What is your no way prediction?
My no way
Peter?
prediction, because it's based on absolutely nothing, is that Ikumi Nakamura is just on stage for some reason to promote a game or for something, and she's just being her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason she would be there that I'm aware of. but I
Last
would
time
just
she
wanna
was
see
like
her.
just asking for investors for her game. Like it was like,
Yeah.
we're making
Yeah.
this game. We want someone to help pay
Strange,
for it.
wasn't it?
And it's
Yeah.
like, what?
And that game has now been it's had a reveal just like sort of quietly online. So it's not like if that hadn't yet fully been revealed, I might not consider that 100% not going to happen. But because it is already out there, she's not got a reveal to make. So yeah.
I don't think that Jeff will mention the layoffs at all and offer any kind of sympathy to those that were affected. I think that if he says about the layoffs and he says, he's going to say, wow, what a great year it is to be a gamer. And he's not going to say a single thing. So I think if he mentions a layoff and offers some kind of sympathy, I'm going to get 3 points.
Okay. You think it's so unlikely that Jeff
I'm so unlikely that he will mention it that I've put it in my no way section.
Okay.
So if
Jeff is going to pretend it didn't happen.
If he does mention it, I get 3
Jeff's
points.
got too many sponsors. He's not going to talk about big layoffs. Okay. My no way for Summer Game Fest is that we will see no fewer than 6 men in a blazer t-shirt combo. Now, I know we normally see at least a handful, but I feel like 6 is quite a lot. And if we hit 6 men in blazers and t-shirts, that's 3 points for me.
It has to be men.
What if
Has
it's
to
a
be
lady?
men.
Yeah.
Has to be men.
Okay.
Because I feel like ladies have much better fashion sense
Yeah.
than men do,
6 is a
especially
good
in the
number.
games industry.
Because I think the last time we watched something, that would have been the Game Awards, won't it? I think we were surprised by how few specifically t-shirts and
But
blazer
the Game
combos
Awards,
there
they
were.
do tend to
People
put a bit
got
more
dressed up a
effort
little
in,
bit.
Yeah,
don't
that's
they?
true. But
It's
yeah,
casual. It's
we
casual.
saw t-shirts and we saw blazers, but we didn't tend to see them together.
Okay, I'm gonna have to keep a
6.
tally of
Mm.
who comes up on stage.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Xbox showcase for 1 point. What are your 2 likely predictions?
I think Forza Horizon 6. You know, there's quite often a Forza or a Forza Horizon. There's no sort of specific rumor or evidence for that, but I think it might just happen. Something that is a bit more rumored is that maybe Perfect Dark will be shown.
Yeah.
I've seen people speculating that, and like there's people kind of like there's some very unreliable leaks on like 4chan and stuff saying, "Oh yeah, Perfect Dark," and apparently people have been saying it's appeared to have been in trouble for like a year or more. That's what insiders were saying, and then more recently, some insiders have been saying that has been over exaggerated, and it's not
shaping up
as
beautifully.
in trouble as it
Okay.
appears to be. Yeah, so maybe we'll see that.
I think Avowed will get a release date. It's supposed to come out in fall 2024, so I think it's pretty likely that we'll see a release date from them. And I think we'll potentially get to see some more gameplay for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which is again still slated.
Great Circle. I
That'd be nice to
can't
see.
not say that whenever it's
It's not a good name, is it?
the
No,
Great
it's bad.
Circle. Great big
I
circle.
don't know if we will, because I know it's not been that long since we saw it, and I'm wondering, is it Ubisoft that they're doing it with, or is it just them?
No, that's
Oh, yeah.
Machine Games, the
Yes.
Wolfenstein people.
So I'm wondering if we'll see some more of that.
Yeah. My 2 are that we're going to see a new Doom game. This has been
that's
rumored
heavily
recently,
rumored, yeah.
so there's a good chance that could be
Dark
there.
Ages.
Yes, what does it mean? Are they going back in time? And also that they will announce it's happening right now, or that very soon the older Call of Duty games will be coming to Game Pass.
Okay.
They're going to start putting those on Game Pass. I think
that is
that's my likely prediction.
I have got for my unlikelies. I think we might finally see a proper gameplay trailer for the Fable reboot. We saw that CG trailer with Richard Ayoade before.
There was a little bit of gameplay in
which
it, but not very
people
much.
described as a gameplay trailer, but it was almost all CG made to look like gameplay. But I think there was a little bit of gameplay. But basically, like a sort of a proper "this is coming soon," maybe even with a release date. I've not specified that, but yeah, Fable 4 will reappear, and this is pretty unlikely. New Banjo-Kazooie game announced.
Ooh.
Don't really know what that's based on, other than the fact that Xbox now own a number of studios after the Activision acquisition that maybe would be good at that kind of thing. So that's an idea.
My last ones aren't really about game reveals, but I think that they will say coming to Game Pass. I think it's unlikely that they will say coming to Game Pass less than 10 times. So if they say it less than 10 times, I get a point or 2.
Less than 10 times.
But do they
Yes.
have to say it or
Or I think show it. Because I think they're not going to say it really that much.
Okay, because I was going to say most of the trailers will say
Coming
to Game Pass.
So I'm wondering if it has to say day 1.
Day 1 on Game Pass.
Day 1 on Game Pass. Less than 10 times.
And what if we get a sizzle reel of third-party stuff where it just says day 1 on Game Pass and then it shows like 6 games back to
Then
back?
that's just one.
That's just one.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So if it's seen or heard 11 times,
Then I
don't
don't
get
get
the
any
point.
points. Yeah. And my other thing, and this one is a bit of a gamble, is I don't know. Actually, I'm feeling a bit low. Like I'm not going to win this anymore. I'm doubting myself.
We're all flying by the seat of our pants here.
I think that they will announce 3 more Xbox exclusive games that will become cross-platform.
Okay.
And my crazy guess is Starfield will be one of them. I don't think it will, but
Is that your no way, or is it? Just
that's my unlikely. Is that 3 more exclusive games will be announced to come cross-platform.
But the Starfield part.
Starfield's just a little like
That's just
yeah,
a personal
for
thing,
funsies.
not part of the prediction.
Yeah.
So it's games that are currently exist as exclusives.
a bit like what they did with Hi-Fi Rush and
Yeah, becoming-
yeah.
Okay.
I think they'll do 3 more.
3 more.
Okay.
All right.
My unlikely / less likely is that there will be no mention of studio closures. They will not address the humongous elephant in the room. If they do, I don't get a point. If they go the entire showcase without talking about the state of themselves,
Yeah.
then I get 2 points. My other unlikely prediction is that finally a new Gears of War will at least be teased.
It is rumored.
Because it
Yeah,
hasn't
I've
even
heard
been
that.
announced yet.
It's
And it's
rumoured.
been in, I think they said as recently as a year ago that production hadn't even begun on a new Gears of War game. So I don't know how far through they will, but I think it'll make people excited. They're desperate for goodwill. So show a little teaser or something or a logo. It's happening. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your no way?
My no way, I think based purely on timing, is that given that it's under the Activision banner, I believe, a new Guitar Hero game will be announced, and that they will do it with a musical performance on stage. Not Guitar Hero style performance necessarily. It can just be a band playing some rock music, and then it's like Guitar Hero coming soon. But yeah, that's my no way.
Okay.
I'm about to do a double negative, but I think there's no way we will not see Todd Howard. I think
Todd Howard
if Todd Howard
is going to
isn't
be-
there, then I get a point. If he doesn't show up at all during the Xbox showcase, then I get 3 points.
Right. You think it's so likely Todd
I
Howard's
think
going
it's
to be
so
there?
likely that he's
That if
going to
he's
be
not,
there, that if he's not there, I'll get,
get 3 points.
Because we haven't heard about the new Starfield DLC, and I just feel like he's going to be there like, hi, we had a great year last year. And now it's time.
What
to
colour do
play
you think his
more
leather
games."
jacket will be this
Brown.
time? Brown.
Always
It's always
brown.
brown.
Yeah.
It is always brown.
What if, again, what if someone else is on stage and they say, it's been a great year for Xbox. It's not. Starfield, for example, Todd, you did a great job, and it cuts, and he's just sitting in the crowd.
Do we know that it's going to be a crowd thing? Or is
it
it
won't
gonna
be.
I don't
Yeah,
think
keep-
it's a
I keep
crowd thing
saying
with
crowd
Xbox.
thing,
Pre-produced.
but
I
no,
think
you're right.
I think it's a live stream from Xbox, but it's a crowd.
It
for
cuts to a
Xbox.
framed
Yeah.
It won't
photo
be
of
a
Todd on the
crowd.
wall.
Yeah.
crowd thing,
If
yeah.
there's a picture of Todd Howard, do I still get the point?
No,
Like, if he's
you
not there.
no.
I guess I said it will not see Todd Howard.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry, I keep forgetting which way your prediction is. No,
Yeah.
if we don't see Todd in the flesh, by which I mean
if
he's
he's not in a video or there in person,
yes.
then I get.
But
a
if
point.
you see, if they're talking about Starfield and
they
it's
show
the
a
lead
picture of Todd
developer,
Howard.
not even that, like in the background you can see, like it's some B-roll of the studio and Todd Howard's talking, animates these developers. That's Todd Howard.
Oh!
Even if he's not
No!
talking.
We'll
Even
be
if
on
he's
Todd
not
Patrol.
talking.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
There might be like a 2-second thing of him in a sizzle reel talking about how great Xbox is.
Starfield.
Piss.
Just
No
go,
points. No
Should have
points.
been more
It's a
specific.
magical place to work, and that'll be it, and you will lose your point.
Or he'll just be smiling at the camera and he'll ruin my day.
Yeah. The smile of doom.
Yeah.
And finally, my no way prediction for Xbox is that we're going to see a new Halo game teased.
Wow.
I
I
just-
so nearly put that as my no way.
just-
Like it's not even funny.
It just doesn't feel like something that they are either going to touch for a while or like, because I have no idea what's going on. Like, what is
Yeah.
happening with Halo Infinite?
I don't know.
They're still doing stuff to it, but is anyone playing it? So are they actually working on something else? And if they are, how far along is it? Because it's only been a couple of years since Infinite released.
Yeah.
And that took them a long time to
Yeah,
get
it
out the
did.
door. So
So they might want to almost keep their heads down for a little bit.
and
Yeah.
make sure, because they need it. We've said it before, next Halo, it's make or break time, especially for the 343
343.
developers. It's make or break time for them. So they need to get it right. But there we are. Those are our predictions. As I said, we will be
I'm worried
going.
now. I feel like I've gone a bit too far out there.
Please,
No, I think mine are pretty unlikely compared to.
it's such a flip shoot. We've
Yeah.
always felt exactly the same way about our predictions.
God, if
Like,
I
there's no
see
way
Todd
it's
Howard, I'm going to be so filled with rage.
furious.
If I had to place a bet on the most likely out of everyone's, I think Doom is probably almost a dead cert.
I
Right.
think Gears of War might be a dead set as well, to be fair, because I think I've seen a lot about Gears of War recently in terms of they're making a new one.
Well, that only gives me 3 points if those two are there. So,
Yeah.
so it's all to play
It
for.
All
is,
I
yeah.
need is Todd Howard not to be there.
This
Be
isn't
all
a
right.
race to win, remember. It's a race not to lose.
Yeah.
As long as you don't lose, you're a
That's
winner.
true.
I
So it's
really
fine.
feel like a bit. I'm really interested to see if Jeff does mention the layoffs, because I feel like if he does mention them, I would be very, very surprised, because normally he just completely ignores everything that's going on. But I wonder if he'd have got enough backlash where he'll be like, such a shame everyone lost their jobs.
It might be a cryptic thing. He
Wow.
might just say, say something like, obviously it's been a difficult
Yeah, he'd
year.
be like, oh, I'm sorry you all lost your jobs.
He could.
He might.
And then he'll cut to The Rock, who'll talk about Zoa,
Zoa
energy drink.
I
He'll
nearly
cut
made
to
a
Todd
rock
Howard.
related prediction, but I couldn't really
Honestly,
think of something.
I was thinking about the Muppets, but they're usually a
Yeah.
Game Awards
Yeah,
thing,
so
aren't
I
they?
thought about
If it
the
was Game
Muppets
Awards, I
too.
would have bet that a Muppet would be.
Which
there.
Muppet is it?
Yeah.
So we really hope that you can join us for all the festivities kicking off next weekend. Once again, we'll be reacting to Summer Game Fest on Friday at 10 p.m. BST on YouTube, Future Game Show on Saturday at 8 p.m. BST on Twitch, and the Xbox Showcase on Sunday at 6 p.m. BST on YouTube.
When Ubisoft finally give us a time for their thing, I might react to that on my Monday live stream.
Yes.
I think they have given us a time.
Well, as of yesterday, I couldn't find a time,
okay.
but maybe there is one.
Maybe there is.
So, but it depends whether it's at a reasonable hour in the day for me.
It's normally in the evening. They normally do it in France.
Yeah, well, if it's a France-based time, then it probably will be sort of evening time UK. So that's unconfirmed, but I may do that on the Monday.
So pay attention to social media if you want to double check when we're going live, but it should be a little before just so we can run through our predictions again, because the stakes are high. Who is going to go on holiday for a month and be replaced by an alter ego?
Yeah. And if you're
What
on,
is Ashton's name going to be?
Yeah, if you're on Patreon, you can vote now into what my name might be if I lose.
Yes. Yeah. That poll will be running until next Thursday. So go and vote right now, patreon.com/Team TripleJump. Thank you so much for listening and joining us, everybody. There's a few places you can find us around the internet. Peter's going to tell you a couple of them now.
You can find us at youtube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump. All of our videos and occasional special live streams like those ones happen on YouTube, and the rest of our live streams happen on Twitch. And if you have got Amazon Prime, then you are paying for a bundle of things, including a Twitch sub. So at no extra cost on top of your Prime subscription, you can be a subscriber to us on Twitch with all the usual benefits. So have a look at that.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, on all of which we are at Team TripleJump. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, it is, of course, patreon.com/Team TripleJump.
Our website is triplej.mup. That's triplej.mp. There you can find links to everything that we do. And why not leave us a 5-star review on your platform of choice? It helps. Something to do with Al Gore's rhythms, and we'd really appreciate it. It takes just a moment. Thank you so much, everybody. Just enough time to talk about this week's sponsor again, which is us doing the Lord's work, by which I mean us doing Microsoft's work promoting Hellblade 2 with their new tie-in lager, Hellblade 2 Senua's Lager. There we are. Go and buy it now. Thank you so much,
Yum.
everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.